To install the Smittybilt overhead console in a hardtop, we would have to overcome an small engineering obstacle, and that is basically this freedom top and the latches line up right where that overhead console would go. So we'd have to engineer a way to determine how we can open and close that and not interfere with it. Going to be mounting that into, so you can see it's a 2007 Jeep JK Unlimited with the hardtop and the optional freedom top on it. So just do a quick walk around. Basically it's been outfitted with mostly American Expedition vehicle accessories, the MoRide gas tank, 5-gallon holder. It's got some I'll say those are best top foot rails. They're adjustable. They're in the down position right now. Backup light. And it's got the AV snorkel on it. And of course the mirrors on the driver and passenger side have been relocated. You can see that it comes with basically a box with the pouches. Okay, and it has some detailed instructions on how to install the particular unit. Remember, this is not made for a JK with a hardtop, but you know, they do give you a lot of good pouches to go with it, etc. If we remove that box, we can see the underlying frame. You see it does have these holes in it, so I plan to try and reutilize some of that. Has the clamps to go, the rest of the installation hardware, another instruction booklet, and that's basically all you get in the box. Here's the actual assortment of pouches that this thing comes with. You can see this part here is the part that goes over the frame, if you will. Then we have several small and medium type pouches, and then we also have, it looks like a flashlight pouch, another auxiliary pouch of some sort, another little pouch, and then you have these two little things. These, if I'm not mistaken, are going to go around the the water pipe clamps or whatever they're called, around the sound bar. This is the overhead bracket, if you will, the mounting surfaces. I know the light's a little poor out here today, but it's a very nice heavy duty piece of equipment. Nice powder coat finish on it. Typically, before I install anything on my vehicle, I put additional coatings of paint on it. I'll be doing the same with this one, so that it gets as much protection as it can possibly get. So, with the freedom top off, and my beautiful wife here, we have just kind of set it in place to see what kind of modifications we're going to need to make to get the freedom top back on where it needs to be. Alright folks, basically following the instructions, use a puller, trim puller, and then loosen that, trim around the windshield, and since mine's a 2007 model, I'm going to have to drill out the riveted on Footman Loop here. That's the next step in the installation. Once again, what I'm trying to do at this point is trying to retrofit this to work in my Jeep. So I'm going to take a few liberties with some of the activities, but I will go ahead and try and put this in a loose fitment so that I can see what modifications I'm going to have to make the freedom top work and have this accessory in my hardtop. Okay, thank you. Okay, now we've gone ahead and drilled out the rivets that we're holding the Footman Loop in. Word of caution, I think they recommend a 1/8 drill bit. That's not wide enough to get these out easily. So I'd step up one size. Once I got them drilled out, had a hard time getting the Footman Loop with the still attached rivets off the frame. And once I had that, then I had to struggle to get the actual rivets out of the Footman Loop. Okay, I've gone ahead and hit the Footman Loop where I had to drill those rivets out. They didn't paint it underneath there, so I just hit it with some touch-up paint that matches the car from Mopar, and we're good to go. Okay, so we're trying to install the C-clamps. And they go right back in here, and you know, they come with this little piece of cloth, piece of canvas. So it'll slide right down in here without that canvas, no problem. But I've read that it can cause squeaking and stuff if you don't install that. So it's a little too tight to get that in there. So what we have to do is, once it goes down in here, where that hole is, there's a corresponding hole back up in here, and you just kind of have to wiggle that thing a little bit, and you can start to see the cloth coming through. So we'll get it through this side, and then we'll start to put it back up to that side. That side has a lot more space in it. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay folks, so we've got the first one in. Definitely you're going to need a small flathead screwdriver to help get it around these tight spots. Panel puller is helpful, but you're going to need that very small flathead. I used one like this, really helped. And you're going to also want some needle nose of some site, so wherever, you know, if you can get a hold of it, you can give it a good swift tug, get it loose. But once you get it in there, it's pretty good. And that cloth ought to help any squeaking noises or anything like that. We've got the second one started, and we'll get that one installed. If you have one, helpful hint, if you happen to have a 2007 or something where you need to use the supplied nut plate, it comes on this rod, and so you can bend it and put it up in there in the windshield. Well, since you have to stick this behind the windshield and you only have this little bar to maneuver it, I thought I would paint it white because it's not going to be seen. But when I use a flashlight in there to see if I'm starting to line up holes, I can actually see white versus just something that's flat black. And that ought to help me get it lined up where it needs to be. Okay, so we have the front bracket mounted. We've got the steel shelving in place, and we've ran those, whatever they're called, those circle things you put on dryer vents that are the attachments. Let me move up there and show you. Okay, so once again, it's not made for the JK, so it's a little tight. Personally, since this sits on top of this piece of metal right here, I think they should have just went ahead and provided some self-tapping screws and just mounted that thing directly to that piece of steel. I don't think that would cost any more than these little cheap clamps. And these a lot harder to get in there. You get it laying up there, you get it positioned where you want it. Pop a couple holes, put your self-tapping screws in there, and you should be good to go. Okay, so we've got it mounted, and we have the, oh my goodness, I forgot what you call it, the MOLLE system. The MOLLE system up here, very loose right now. I'm going to mount the CB radio back in here. I'm going to leave this loose. I have lots of storage in this Jeep already. Okay, so the main purpose of this is to give me more space to mount electronics, things of that nature. Okay, I've mounted it a little off center, which is perfect because the Freedom top it will not interfere with at all at this point. So now it's just a matter of mounting the CB, popping a couple holes, and putting the Freedom top back on. Okay, so now we've got the radio mounted, and I've got the Cordura nylon MOLLE compatible cover over. And the way I shortened that is, believe it or not, I just folded over parts of it to make it the length that I wanted so I didn't damage it. So I folded over part of this side, I folded a part of that side. It usually has 5 of these straps, so you can see I'm only using 3. Very sturdy, won't move, no matter what I try. I've got my cabling for my CB mount, where I drilled a couple holes. This stuff over here, where it's mounted to the back of the Jeep, and we'll look at the other side. Okay, and here's a view from the opposite side. It's probably not as good. Do the lighting out here. Beautiful Florida day. It's just cloudy as heck. And that's about it, guys. Now I just need to put the Freedom Top back on and show you what that looks like. Alright guys, this is it with the Freedom Top on. By mounting it more to that side, the passenger side, and by reducing the amount of this fabric I wanted to use, you can see that I can get to the Freedom Top right there, and I can do the same thing right here. Okay, and that's pretty much going to conclude our little demo here. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and give you a better shot of this. It's getting dark out. That's what she wound up looking like. All right.